Welcome back to the Boy Time channel. It's the end of the year, which means we have to list our favorite albums subjectively.
Yeah.
This is opinion based. That's our first disclaimer of many disclaimers of this video. So we're doing top 25s. We'll probably breeze through like the first 15 and then talk more for like top 10, just so this video isn't 3 hours long. Me and Babjab are doing top 25 from this year. Jerry, explain what you're doing, because I don't even really know what you're doing.
Okay. I don't listen to a whole lot of new stuff. I'm still getting caught up on stuff from the 2010s. So I didn't even have enough new stuff to make 25. I listed it out and I listened to 9 new albums. So oops, not enough. But Babby insisted that I be in this video, so I am
Yes.
instead ranking the top 25 things that we reacted to this year, and then I'm going to be sprinkling in some stuff that I listened to that we didn't react to,
Very
but
good.
that I like. So
That you heard
it's
this
a little
year.
mix of both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, it's not stuff that I heard. Like the stuff that I'm sprinkling in is stuff specifically that came out this year.
Okay. Got it.
Yeah.
Makes
So-
sense. Good. Leave a
Not
comment
really.
if it doesn't make sense. Actually, don't do that.
It doesn't make sense to me,
Yeah.
but
Look,
it's my
we need to
list,
be
so-
inclusive here and include everybody. People would have a riot if Jerry just isn't in a video. So
That's right. You need the sex
here we are.
appeal.
He's the
Exactly.
draw.
He is the
Yeah.
draw.
They come for Jerry and stay for Jerry too.
Exactly. I'm just a talking head
I'm just here sometime.
Yeah.
randomly without explanation. But we're also doing top 50 songs, but that will not be in a video format because then it'll be way too long. So look in the description. We have Spotify playlists of each of our top 50s. I will put that there so you can listen to them or look at them or whatever you do with playlists. I don't know. I'm not
Watch
your dad.
them.
Watch
Scream at
them. Yeah. Tell us how wrong we are.
Yeah.
Leave an angry comment right now.
Yes. But I think that's most disclaimers, except that we are also doing lists on our podcast in the coming
Yeah.
weeks. So we are on streaming services now with our podcast. So we'll put links of that in the description as well. So if you want to hear our top movies and games for the year, check out that one.
We got a lot of stuff.
A lot
to
of
get
lists.
through.
Yes.
Yeah.
But without further ado, we can just kind of go, I guess. I'm kind of thinking we just go in the order left to right. So that'd make Jerry go first, and then I go, and then Babjab would go. We just kind of go in a circle.
We can do that.
Yeah,
Okay.
here.
So my first album is
Yeah. JPEG motherfucking.
You know, it's motherfucker.
okay. So this one was it was one of the first Babjab ones. It may have been.
It was
the
like the
first one.
second one.
I think
we had
Babjab was
MGMT
on there
first.
for
Yeah.
100 gex, but
Mhm.
then like Vegan was the first one on the Babjab wheel, I think is how that worked out. But yeah, this made the list. I obviously didn't include everything that we reacted to. That would be too many. Would have been like 35 or something. But this made the list. I like the beats on here, pretty sick. I think that JPEG Mafia song in particular, probably the best one.
Banger.
I think the only thing that's holding it back from really like any higher positions is that it's just an instrumental album, and like the beats are so good that I would have really wanted someone on it. That was it felt a little bit lacking. But it was pretty good. It was enjoyable. I still listen to it sometimes as I'm working on homework or doing something around the spot.
Epic. Speaking of instrumental albums, my number 25. What is this thing? It's a musical piece broken into 9 movements. It has saxophone player Pharoah Sanders, who is like in his 70s at this point, I think, collaborating with Floating Points, who does more electronic music. And then they paired up with the London Symphony Orchestra to do this thing. So very mesmerizing. It's like 45 minutes, but it feels like it goes like for only 10 minutes. You just kind of get sucked in. It's the perfect homework album. It just kind of goes. But you got everything I love. You got a saxophone, you got some beat boops here and there, but the whole thing is built off of like one simple thing that they do, like one little riff kind of, and then they build the whole album around it. Pretty sick. I can't rate it much higher than 25 because it is just that. Like, I'm not going to just listen to it every day because it is like a classical piece kind of, but kind of cool. That's my number 25.
That's neat.
Okay. My number 25 is
I guess my memories run wild. Like when we went to see Bob Dylan. We danced to desolation.
very acclaimed indie group. I didn't really know what they did before this, and even now I'm not too into it, but it's just a nice little indie record. Only 25, so I don't have too much to say on it, but if you like indie music and you haven't heard this, give it a shot.
Do
Barely
it.
beats out the new John Hopkins album, Atmospheric Thing. If you like that, try that. That would have been my number 26 if you were doing more, but just missed the mark. So
I should
yeah.
say that if we want to, we can put our full list in the descriptions too. I have 50. I don't know how many you have.
I have 25.
Okay. If you did have more, though, you can put those in the description if you'd like.
Yeah.
Long description.
Yes.
All right, so we're moving on to number 24.
I need all my bitches same color as Drake. If they not, then they getting rocked. Put that Pyrex in the pot. I don't give a fuck if you out there in the city.
I think this is the only Yikes that made it on my top 25. So, good job, everyone. This album isn't like one that I listen to very regularly, but I remember as I was, I watched the video to kind of get reminded what was going on, and as I've been listening to it, getting ready for that retrospective that we shot, and I don't know if it's up yet. But I just thoroughly enjoy JPEG Mafia's performance on this. Some of the beats can be a little bit too abrasive for me, but that's me. I'm more of an easy listening kind of man. But I did enjoy it. I think I said bars too many times in that video, but it accurately.
That's what I did in
represents
Black
what's on
Star,
it.
so yeah.
Okay.
Sometimes you just gotta say bars a lot.
Yeah, well, it's good.
Hmm.
But that is, everybody already knows that.
Classic.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I can say that. I think it's classic. My number 24.
Half slab, golden retriever, this ain't no Purina. Black mag in the 4 fever, brick of cocaine. Stirring them grits up in the pot, no, this ain't no Farina. Stuffing 30 clips in my Glock and switch your hold to me.
Technically is self-titled. This is like their second collab album in 2 years. Price of Tea in China being the one in 2020. That made it way higher on my list last year. I feel like the appeal kind of rubbed off a little bit from with the second one, even though I think it is still very quality. I think I Griselda myself out last year with all the releases. If anybody watched my video last year, I had Griselda members all over my top 15. So I think I got burned out a little bit. But beat selection, still key. This kind of like monotone flow works really well. Kind of Earl Sweatshirt-ish a little bit. But features are fantastic. Fake Flowers with Freddie Gibbs is amazing. A lot of good features. Alchemist always comes with those kind of the key members that he always brings. But very good gangster street rap. Boldy James, still kind of underrated in my opinion. I don't think he gets brought up with the Conways and the Bennies and the West Side Guns as much, but definitely keep an eye on him. That's my number 24.
My number 24 is
Made me hate this city, and I don't talk shit about you on the internet. Never told anyone anything.
pretty good pop record in my opinion. Is it better than her 2019 one? Probably not, but it's still a fairly good listen. I don't find myself returning to like the entire project, but there's a few songs that I come back to every once in a while. But yeah, just nice, easy album for the most part, and just good casual listening.
barely missed my top 25.
All the Billie Eilish stands are angry at you now.
I mean, I made it in the video, so that's enough of a reward, I think.
Well, there you go. Yeah. All right, number 23.
Bow your head, repeat what is said. Lead us.
This was our Halloween spectacular. Yeah, it was very frightening that day. Listening to this record, it is very ominous. But I think Daveed Diggs gives the performance of a lifetime, even though I think he just does that all the time. Yeah. But I, this is very much a, October record. I don't really see myself listening to this outside of that context. But it's like a perfect October record.
True.
And, who doesn't love some spooky vibes? So I like it, but not over a lot.
Selective. Yeah.
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 Epic. Going a completely different route. My number 23 is
The taste, the smell, the punch through the drywall inside my skull. Interior people.
the happiest album, I think, on this list. I have LW behind me. I don't have Butterfly 3000 yet, but that was like their microtonal stuff that they did in February, and then they came back with a new style again later in the year. This time they're doing dream pop, psychedelic, old style rock with some Japanese influence. I don't know. It was crazy. But the whole thing is just super infectious. I mean, it's got Interior People on it. That's like one of the best songs of the year.
Yeah.
I think I put it like in the top 5 of my songs. So, yeah, it's just good listening, easy listening. A lot of great synth leads on here, and there's some of the songs where King Gizzard just connects, and Interior People is one of those where everything just hits super hard. But good effort from them. I'm expecting 7 albums next year, so get on that.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Okay, my number 23 is
Blood of my blood, skin of my skin. You're in Rondelay, water aching.
I was a big fan of their 2020 release, Shore. And this is an acoustic album, actually. Mainly Shore redos with a few of their older albums sprinkled in. Yeah, it's not too much of a difference because Shore is already a very organic record. And this is just an acoustic, so it's not that big of a difference, but it's still fairly new. I'd say it's worth a listen if you're into them or just indie folk in general. But it literally came out 3 days ago as of recording, so I can't say it, it's new, so I don't really know where to rank it, but I think it's a fair placement since it just came out and I can't, hasn't aged yet. So
That's why I hate December
indie
albums.
folk. Yeah, if you like indie folk, give it a shot. You might like it.
I just might. All right, number 22.
And all I can't help but think about if the sun then stays down. All I left is all
Wow, we listened to this quite a while ago.
Mm-hmm.
But I did enjoy it. I think when it comes to KKB stuff, I like their more happy poppy stuff like Break, or I guess even like Trampoline or something like that. And there are moments of that in this record, but there's also some like kind of spooky stuff.
It's very angsty.
Yes, it is very angsty, which I appreciate, but it's like I'm not going to listen to KKB if I want that angst. But I did enjoy it. It's making the list just at number 20.
Nice. What do I got at 22? 22. Bab Jab put me onto this one. I feel like I haven't lived with it enough to put it higher, but it is something. The comparison I always fall back on is it's Frank Ocean, Endless mixed with Bon Iver, and that's a godly combination. But this thing is kind of short, kind of sweet. I love all the different styles it goes through. It gets very acoustic, but then it can get very lush and kind of laid back. But the vocals, fantastic. It's like a mini Frank Ocean. We've all been dying for some new of that, so this is a good holdover. But I don't know. I think this is his first album, so this guy is something to watch out for. But I mean, you got Big Mike as the opener. That song's a slapper. So, and I like just saying Big Mike.
Big
So,
Mike.
That's plus for me.
Yeah.
What is
Very
this? 22.
Yes.
Yeah.
My number 22 is
There it is again, that funny feeling, that funny feeling.
I would be the millionth person to explain to you why it's good, so I don't need to. Yeah, like I would just be repeating stuff people have said a billion times over in video essays and
Yeah.
Twitter, and yeah.
Best song then.
FaceTime with my mom.
Oh, okay.
A bold
That might
pick.
be a contrarian pick,
Maybe.
but,
No, I think that's a fair one.
but
I like that one.
yeah.
too. Yeah.
I don't need to explain to you why Inside is good. So
No, I'll be talking about it a little later. All right. Well, we got 21.
21. Aha!
Very funny
Very
joke.
funny.
Daddy.
Keep a gold chain on my neck, fly as a jet. Boy, better treat me with respect. Keep a gold chain on my neck, fly as a jet. Boy, better treat me with respect. Keep a gold chain on my neck, fly as a jet.
This might be our. No, it's not our most recent because Earl's our most recent Bab Jab.
It's
pick.
up there though.
It's our second most recent. So yeah, this thing, I probably like about half of it, but the stuff I like out of that is there's some good stuff on, like Waste, Fate. Is it Face One? Frick, I don't have it pulled up.
I don't know. The whole second half of the album, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Milk. That's
Mm.
one. Yeah, there's some good stuff on here. But definitely, I'm a bigger fan of Ham.
Yes. We have dubbed
So-
that the Hampton side of the album.
That's the Hampton
Mhm.
side.
Yep.
And I'm excited. If we ever do some more Brockhampton stuff, I'm all for it. Very excited for that.
Yeah, we definitely need to get a Ginger reaction in here. That's all I'm saying.
I would love that.
So,
Yeah.
Eventually.
So hopefully.
Yeah. What are we on? 21?
Haha.
Ha. My number 21.
Let's get this shit, let's get this shit, let's get this shit, let's hum. Top of the morning, 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 top of the morning. Hold on, let's get this.
Oh.
I don't know if I guess I'm late to the Baby Keem fan club, but I also jumped on him like during the whole feature run before the album came out. I was hyping him up big time. The Donda feature, very good. Everything else he was with, he had Travis Scott on a song. Of course, he's got the Kendrick features that came out. Like he was on the come up, and then he dropped the album when he needed to. Peak of his hype, and he's a very. I put this album as awkward in the best way. He's an awkward rapper. It gives him humor, but it also goes kind of hard. Everything about his music is awkward in the best way possible. 17 beat changes a song. His flow goes into baby voice and then not baby voice, and it's really weird and awkward and awesome. He likes to take risks. He's kind of like a. I don't want to go as far as Playboi Carti, but he's like taking these molds from other like new hip hop artists and curving his own lane by becoming every single one of them and using every single style. So it's really fun. There are some songs that really missed. Pink Panties is one of the worst songs I've heard this year, but I mean, you have it right after Trademark USA, which is a really good opener, and the two
It's
Kendrick
fun.
features are awesome. But you also got Boo Man, you got Vent. There's bangers after bangers on here, so very excited to see what he does because I think he's only 20, so he's on the come up for sure.
Okay.
number 21.
From Mellow Seas to houses on wheels to
I don't like it as much as Oncle Jazz that came out in 2019, but this is still pretty good. If you like lo-fi music, I don't want to be like lo-fi hip hop, but it's in that same lane.
I love lo-fi
Um,
hip hop.
So if you like lo-fi, dream pop, bedroom pop, whatever you want to call that, kind of pocket of music, it's not the best of the genre to come out this year, but it's still worth a listen, in my opinion. So if you like lo-fi music, give this one a shot.
Okay, that's fair. All right, number 20. This one's going to be a little bit controversial, and I'm going to have to explain myself a little bit.
Don't go through your camera roll. So much you don't know that you've forgotten. What a trip.
I don't like this album a whole lot, but there are some peaks on here that I really, really like. I think all the slower songs on here, like Angel. I like Camera Roll. I like Hookup Scene. I also like Good Wife. That one's not really a slow song. Then I also like Starcross. There's some great stuff on here. It's not consistent. It's not really that great of an album. I think just the songs on here there's some good songs. And this is one of the only, well, this is the only album so far that I've gone back to since and like listened to it consistently. So I felt like I should probably talk about it because it happened and I listened to it a lot. But you know, it's probably not even better than like Saturation One or KKB, but it's just how I enjoyed it. Which is, that's the whole thing with subjectivity, isn't it?
Exactly.
I just felt like I needed to get in front of that bus.
You don't want to know where mine ended up. That's all I'm going to say.
I'm sure it didn't even make the list.
51, actually.
Oh, okay, so
Yeah.
barely.
So barely.
Okay.
Yeah. That's a can of worms, though. My number 20. This is an invented genre of cave chamber pop. This whole thing was recorded in a cave. So they toured the US, finding different caves, testing acoustics and things until they found the right one. And they hammered this thing out with like a 9-piece orchestra or something, whole bunch of pianos, like a whole band. It's a really cool sound. It's definitely more art pop, kind of Kate Bush-esque. She goes a little crazy on the vocals, but some of the best songs of the year on here. Party Anthem is like absolutely nuts, and the phases it takes. Jesus in Your Living Room 4 is like the burner track of the year almost. Very long and drawn out, but worth it. It's can be like an instrumental album at times, so I put it a little lower because the energy is not consistent. It's kind of all over the place, but a gimmick that works well. And I need more cave pop music. So check that one out. Pretty underrated, I think. I think someone in the comments asked about it. Like, I already heard that one, but now more people can listen to it. This is the time where we get to recommend you guys music. So check that one out.
My number 20 is
This what happens when God die and the demons rule.
Apocalyptic, let's get descriptive on evil tunes. Pay your respects and end up dead on your local news.
Grab, heap the books and get freaky, cause that's what heathens do. My stomach faded.
You told me
this
there's
is
99 neighbors? That's crazy.
wild.
big
This
street.
is a hip hop collective from the Northeast, I think. I don't know much about them at all. I don't even know their names yet. But just, yeah, kind of in that same Brockhampton pocket of alt hip hop collectives. If I could compare it to a sound, I'd say it's like Ginger or Saturation 3 Brockhampton mixed with like a self-titled Injury Reserve type sound, which is pretty good. I don't think it's fair for me to just say they're like Brockhampton and say that's it, because they have their own sound, I think. But I don't know much about them. But yeah, if you like Brockhampton, maybe you'll like this.
Okay, that's fair. Repeat alert.
Ah!
Number 19. It is also Inside the Songs by Bo Burnham. Um, this album kind of dominated my Spotify rap, uh, especially after this thing came out. Through like this whole summer, I was listening to this thing. Um, again, it's going to be hard to say original things without echoing Twitter or even BabJab. But in terms of like my favorite songs, I think like the best song is probably That Funny Feeling, but it's not one that I turn on often. I think All Eyes on Me is my favorite, which is not a, uh, you know, hot take.
Yeah.
But I did, even though it was very high on my Spotify Wrapped, I put it pretty low on this list because, I'm not like, I'm not going listening to sexting all the time or
What?
a white.
You're not listening to
What do
White
you
Woman's
mean?
Instagram all the time?
No, I'm not. I'm sorry.
Not listening to Jeffrey Bezos 1?
2 is my favorite.
Yeah, come on. But yeah, this is the same thing with Starcrossed. Like there are some great tracks on here, but good tracks does not make a good album necessarily. I like the special a lot. So I would probably rate the special pretty high when we're doing movies, but just the album itself is a different can of worms. So yeah,
True.
number 19.
Nice. My number 19. This is my first experience with Snail Mail. I know Lush from like 2018 got like really like cult classic status. I have not listened to it yet, but this is my intro to the group, and very good indie rock. Like this is another work album for me where I'll put it on when I'm working because it's just very like it flows really well. But it's more of like her voice is so similar to Soccer Mommy. It's kind of crazy. I had to like check to make sure it wasn't the same person in 2 groups. But you don't take the Soccer Mommy like smooth pop thing. You go grungy indie rock, and it works very well. Some of the slower songs near the middle are some of my favorites of the year. I've been constantly playing those. You got Light Blue, you got See It All, you got the closer Mia. That just balance of very smooth guitar playing and like a rough vocals to get like that emotion out. It's not perfect and it's not meant to be, but like that makes the song very powerful. So definitely a good indie rock one to check out. It's pretty short and sweet, but that is my number. What is that? 19.
My 19 is
Keeping to myself and staying out the way. Always on my lonely cause I can't change. Seeing how they talking and I'm outraged. Taking care of me don't need a damn thing.
another entry into his kind of in-between album thing. He had Good For You in 2017, I think it was, and then 1.5, and then Limbo, and now 2.5. I think this is kind of like his like lower risk type thing, where he tries stuff, and then on his main albums, like, you know, he goes all in. But for this one, I noticed a pretty big like hyper pop influence, kind of that like, you know, hyper pop poppy type thing, which I would be all down for, like a hyper pop rap album. And if there's anyone who could do it, it would be him.
True.
So Colors is really good. The frog ribbit in the middle gets me every time. EPA is a good opening track, but yeah, not his best, but it's still, you know, something. So,
Charmander is the DDR theme for the year.
yep.
Is that a new genre?
Dance Dance Revolution music. That's a new genre.
Oh, okay. All right, moving right along. Number 18.
For merely dreaming we were snow.
This one also, I listened to a lot, starting in like August through October, probably listening to that fairly regularly, probably up until we did the video. Yeah, I think this thing does a lot of stuff that I had never heard before, while still keeping it pretty accessible. I think that's the key, because I'm sure there's a lot of like abstract groups and artists that are doing a lot of things that this project does, but Hawaii Part 2 kind of keeps that under the auspices of like a pretty, standard pop, like kind of sample, kind of sounds like a sample. I don't know. It's very retro. I enjoy this thing a lot. That being said, it is wildly inconsistent. On one hand, you've got like the Mind Electric, Dream Suite in C major, Black Rainbows. There's some like bangers on there, some really great songs, and then you got your a little bit like, oh, what are you doing with like Labyrinth, the White Ball, stuff like that, where it's like, I really want to like this a whole lot more because you're doing some cool stuff, but yeah, I can't rank it very much higher than that. So that's where it's sitting at 18.
Epic. My number 18.
But one thing I've learned is everything
I regret ever hearing this piece of music, but I'm ranking it on my list because it is insane. Lingua Ignota, I've been meaning to check her out. Melon Man has been key in like kind of bringing her up a little bit more. Constant positive reviews. I think this one got a 10, so I had to check it out. I'm like, all right, this is the one that I got to go into. And I should not have done that. This thing can break people very easily. Warning. It's like dark folk post-religious music. It's very weird. Her vocals are like super intense, and the emotion is like more than I've ever heard on an album before. The album can scare you. There's like a jump scare of like an organ falling off a building type sound in like the first track after it's been quiet for like 4 minutes. But if you want to just hear what it sounds like, check out Pennsylvania Furnace. I think that's one of the best songs of the year. Encapsulates the album's themes pretty well, and that single, and it's the most accessible. But yeah, this thing is terrifying. I would rank it higher, but I don't listen to it much. So.
What is this, 18?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Babby's gonna come up and punch me in the mouth for putting it this low.
Dreams is dangerous, linger like angel dust. Ain't no angels hovering, ain't no saving us, ain't no slaving us. You gonna need a bigger boat, you gonna need a smaller ocean, but here's some more rope.
Yeah, it didn't make my list.
Yeah. I realize
I
I'm
know
in an
Babby-
island here.
Yeah, I know Babby loves this, but for me, it's good, but it's not special.
Mm-hmm.
I like the vibe. The instrumental across the entire thing kind of has this vibe running through it. I like their old sweatshirt feature, obviously. Scaffolds and what was it? Indian Summer are the two that I find myself coming back to the most. Great lyricism, but the delivery gets a little bit repetitive for me. I think it's Billy Woods. I don't know, it's one of the two. But I feel like he has the same delivery on every song.
It's very
and
loud.
It gets a little bit old.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, good lyricism, good instrumentals, just not the step up. So, yeah, still good though.
When you're ranked at 18, made the
That's
list.
pretty good.
Yeah. I was just, Babby praised this early on in the year, so I was
I'm going to
expecting
praise it again
something
later,
else.
so just hold on.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot that you're going to praise that I didn't even put on the list. So,
True.
yeah.
That's vice versa, too. This is like a collective of albums here.
Yeah.
All right. Number 17.
You left my heart twerking, moving, losing, grip on my doings, eyes is crying, on the jet cruising, about to spend millions just to fill voids up, drama, I need you, can you turn the noise up?
The only reason I didn't rank this any higher is that I haven't really been listening to it very consistently. I listened to it the first time and I was like, this is awesome. I really enjoyed listening to it. It's fun. Tyler's performance, he brings that energy. which I think the only other thing I've listened to him was Flower Boy. And I don't really remember very much of Flower Boy, but I remember Call Me If You Get Lost. This is a fun
It's in
track.
your face.
It's in your face, yeah, and that's what I kind of dig. As if that isn't very apparent by everything else on this list that's going to be coming later. But yeah, I listened to it the first time, loved it, haven't listened to it since. I've
Epic.
heard some tracks here and there, but that I've enjoyed them. I like the tracks on here, but for some reason I just haven't gone back. I don't know why that is.
It's very long.
But it is long. So, number 17.
That will not be the last you're hearing of that album. I'm
Yeah, I'm
guessing
sure
all
it
three of
won't
us
be.
have it. So,
Yeah.
my number 17.
I've truly lost it. I've truly lost it this time.
Again, my entryway into James Blake. Have heard of him and have listened to songs here and there, but haven't dug deep into his catalog. But this thing, from what I'm hearing from reception, is more basic. It's not as experimental or out there, but that's fine for me because his voice is absolutely insane. The piano playing, he does really good things with mixing, and works great in the hip hop landscape, but also works really well in his singer songwriter type landscape. Falsettos are on point. Say What You Will, there's that one moment in the song that everybody that's heard it knows what I'm talking about. Drops my jaw every time, so check out that one for sure. But I mean, coming back with SZA, the opening track, there's just a very, very like not peaceful, but like, easy listening album for the most part. Doesn't get too loud or anything, but wasn't a fan of every track, but the ones that I was a fan of like have been stayed in rotation for a long time. So beautiful voice, beautiful playing, pretty good.
It's not on my list. My number, what is this? 17.
Is that the one with the water tower?
Yeah.
Okay.
If you need to scratch your 100 gex itch this year, listen to this album.
Will do.
Yeah. Again, it's not fair for me to talk about artists I don't know a lot about and just say they're like this person and that's it. But that's all I can compare it to, I think. It's hyperpop it's pretty much like 70% hyperpop, 30% indie rock. If that piques your interest at all. I love the opener, 70%. It's very loud and, indie rock mixed with that fast-paced, high-pitched energy of hyperpop. And the lyrics are her just unintelligibly mumbling. And it's really good. Bozo, Bozo, Bozo is a funny song. Yeah. The back end of the record gets a little bit more mellow and not, type thing. But yeah, still, that was really dumb. It's a really good record. Yeah, good album if you are looking for more hyperpop or just, want to bridge the gap between Gex albums, then listen to this one.
There you go. I have the exact opposite vibe coming up.
Let's go.
Boy,
Yeah.
genius.
Yeah, this thing is great. This one was one of our earlier reactions. Kind of got us into Lucy. Well, got me into Lucy. I guess
Me too.
it kind of
It got
by
me deeper
extension.
into Lucy. Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't did solo work, but now we
Not
did,
yet.
obviously.
Yeah, so listen to that. Very good. Don't have a whole lot to say. It's pretty G-dang short. I think that's the only thing I could hold against it, is that it's over too soon. But it's just an EP. I would love a full
Make an
EP.
album.
Yeah.
Do it right now.
Might happen. I don't know. Well, yeah, they've all made separate albums at this point,
Mhm.
right? So they should just get on it. It's very
it.
easy to do.
Just do
So
it.
Just do it. Silk Sonic did it.
True. And that only took them
So
like 9
simple.
months. So
Yeah, it was like so easy. So yeah, just it's nice. I think that last song, I forgot what it's called.
Ketchum, Idaho, I think.
Yeah, I like that one.
Ketchum ID.
ID.
That's my number 16.
Nice. Number 16. I had issues finding out where to put this on the list. But this was like the summer album that came at the end of summer, unfortunately. But I don't like to use like vibe like too much because that's kind of just a word that people use. But this album is the biggest vibe I've ever seen. That this weird thing happened with only this album where it's like the first listen you're like, okay, this is cool, but then the second listen you're like obsessed with it. Every song just takes a little bit to click, but as soon as it does, it's like, oof, we're there. But I mean, Lay With You was like the first single, I think, and then Headshots came after that, and it was just like not missing at all. He is very, very mellow on the album. Sometimes he is overshadowed by features, but other times it's like, you just put it on, don't think about anything. It's banging. It's got the groove. You got a couple of harder tracks, like the one with Lil Uzi Vert and Lay With Ya. But Headshots has like the catchiest chorus. And the closer, Happy Birthday to You. Fantastic. Like a soul number kind of. Very, very nice. So glad he's back. Hopefully he doesn't take another 5 years to drop something, but this was a treat in the summer after the summer was almost over. But,
You're just looking down the blouse. Something I wouldn't say about.
Clairo, Indie Darling. I think it was 2019. Her album Immunity. That kind of became a cult classic. It's kind of the whole I like Clairo, so I have a personality type artist. That kind of thing. But this one is a lot more geared towards like folk indie. I think it was produced by Jack Antonoff, so that helps a lot.
Who?
Famous
Got me
fun guy.
excited. Yeah, he's a fun guy.
This one is, I haven't heard all of Immunity, I don't think, but that one's a lot more indie rock. This one's a lot more folk. Opener, Bambi, great song. The rest of it just kind of flows together for me in a good way. I'm not saying like, it does kind of blend together for me, but again, in a good way. It's not like I'm losing attention. It just kind of all flows together. So yeah, good indie folk album.
Sounds good to me. I'm excited to get that one. I know it's on.
You'll like that one. Yeah.
Yeah, I know it's on Bab Jab's wheel. I think is it also on our main list?
I don't think
I
so.
don't know. Okay, we'll listen to it eventually.
We'll get
Hold
there.
myself off. Spotify keeps recommending it to me, and I say no way.
It is like right up
No
your
way.
alley, so.
Yeah, I know. My number 15.
Number 15.
So many plays on me, I finesse Palisade views with some sex. I lost a lot of love for missionary. This the first time I react. Me and Top is like a Kobe and Viola. Father figure play.
Another early reaction that we did.
Our first hip hop reaction, I think.
I think that is true. Yeah. I love Kendrick Lamar. Got really into him this year. Had been holding this album off because I knew that it was on the wheel. And then we got it, and it's like, it's hard to compare this to the other 3 records. I still haven't heard Section 80, so I'm sorry. But yeah, this thing, it's not as good, but it's still pretty good. There's some good songs on here. Like I like Untitled 2, 5, 6. I think those are the highlights. I'd have to go through and listen to it again. It's been about a month or 2 since I listened to it all the way through. But thoroughly enjoy it. But it's a B-sides record. So can't I couldn't bring myself to bring it over the next one, what's coming up next, so it's at 15.
Ominous.
It's very ominous. You'll just have to wait.
Okay. My number 15.
You want to set out for the cities, turning wheels. I want to stay up on the hill.
Shout out Melon Man once again. This is art pop to the art poppiest it can be, I think. Very drawn out songs. It took me a while to get used to her vocals because it's literally like a Disney princess movie. So it was a little bit of a... I had to tune myself to like, okay, now I'm kind of getting it. But what drew me to it initially was just how good like the instrumentation was and how good the tracks flow, despite them being 5, 6, 7 minutes long. There's always something to keep your attention. Everything's placed perfectly where it needs to be. I don't go back to it a whole lot, but like when I'm in that certain mood, like I put it on and it's just perfect. It's very mystical, positive, still kind of mysterious a little bit, but her vocals are really crazy. She's a very good vocalist. It's just something you have to get used to. But Boys at School is really great. The opener, Little Deer, is fantastic. Definitely check it out if you're in that realm. I know someone has requested this, so it is on the viewer wheel. So
It is.
we could see it come up on the channel here. And
Mhm.
I'll give more thoughts then when I'm more fresh with it. But pretty cool.
Cool beans.
15.
Baby bet, ayy, couple racks, ayy, couple Grammys on him, couple plaques, ayy, that's a fact, ayy, throw it back, ayy, throw it back, ayy.
Lillard Nosington, the 10th.
Yes.
Yeah, it's, Lil Nas X makes, good music, good singer, good pop music, but for me, it was hard to find anything just, beyond good pop music. Second half of the record, I know he dives into some more personal stuff and away from just, trying to make the catchiest song possible. But as a debut album, I think it's good, good enough to warrant all the waiting for it. But nothing special, in my opinion. But still good vocalist, good features. Yeah. Lillard Nosington. What else can I say about him? He's great.
Yeah. I'm also going to be talking about that later, so...
Mine got stubbed, so they'll be my spokespeople. It was number 26.
Oh. All right. My number 14.
Oh, yeah.
This is why I had a. I
I see.
couldn't put.
I see.
I couldn't put that over
Mhm.
because I love Marvin Gaye. I think he's probably one of the best, probably one of the most talented musicians ever. Like if you ever watch like videos of him like writing like songs, he's kind of like Michael Jackson was like this too. Where I don't know if he played any instruments or anything, but he would like sing the notes and like write songs with his voice, and that's like crazy to me that people can do that. That being said, let's get it on. Not my favorite Marvin Gaye record. I think What's Going On takes it for me. But that being said, this is a more kind of so it's a little bit more soul, I guess. I don't really know how to describe it.
A little more
It's
jazzy.
it's a little more jazzy. I think that's what I'm looking for. So if that's more your thing, this is more instrumental heavy than What's Going On, which is I like his voice. He has a very nice voice. I like when he harmonizes with himself. There's a lot of great stuff on What's Going On, but Let's Get It On has some great music on it. So I would have felt bad if I put it any lower, but I think it's like perfect exactly where this is for me. So that's what we got.
It's really good.
It is good.
Number 14. This is the first entrant of post-punk in my list and will not be the last. But kind of dove into post-punk this year with this thing being the opening point, and I thought it was a completely different genre than what it was. I didn't take post-punk literally. It literally is post-punk where you can do whatever you want under like the guise of not doing what people tell you to do. But this is the chaos side of post-punk, I'm going to call it. This album is incredibly chaotic, sporadic. It can change on a dime. The first song is literally like flooding your ears with music, and then we'll stop for 3.5 seconds and then come back. But then it goes into smoother songs. It gets a little quieter. You have like Diamond Stuff, which is like a 7-minute song that's like a super slow, like Pink Floyd-esque build. That's really cool. Looking into music videos to get this video, a lot of their music videos are just Zoomer memes, which fits the music quite well. There's literally just like a Google Maps like drag through really fast that goes with the music, so that's always a plus for me. But not a lot of songs on it, but everything works pretty well. Definitely interested. I think I'd put this on par with Schlagenheim. This one's a little bit more cohesive, I think, but chaotic, crazy, all over the place. It's you got to be in a mood to put it on, but you know, it's definitely something. You got to experience it yourself. I can't put it into words. It's weird.
There's a picture on the wall of me on a John Deere. Jenny handed me a beer, said, "How the hell did you get there?" Oklahoma.
Very good ballads all across the board with this one. More of a return to her, again, ballad side after NFR in 2019. A little bit more of a rough around the edges project. But yeah, really good instrumentals, just, you know, good guitar, good piano, good vocals all around. But the one thing that knocks this down multiple spots is the interlude. I don't know what she was thinking when she did this. The entire album are these, you know, slow ballads that are, you know, what you would expect from Lana Del Rey. And then the interlude is a trap remix of like an old Western movie score.
Let's go.
And it throws off the entire vibe of like everything surrounding it. And like I'm not saying it sounds bad because it would fit in. Like if this was like before Boo Man on the Melodic Blue, it would be the best thing ever. But like it just does not belong here at all. And it knocks it down multiple spots for me. And I know that's weird to say like one song ruins stuff for everything else.
That's valid.
Like it
though.
just
Yeah.
Everything else is good though. Sweet Carolina, the closer, beautiful song. Better than NFR as an album? I don't know.
Okay, I thought you were gonna say that as a fact. I'm like, whoa.
Yeah, up in the air. I would probably put NFR a tiny bit above, but this is still good. So, yeah.
Epic.
All right. My number 13, the unlucky number. This was my introduction to King Gizzard. Although I guess that's where it's staying because I have not listened to any other.
Yeah.
Yeah, as of now. There's so many.
There's
King
4 on
Gizzard.
the wheel, so
Yeah. So, you know,
it's bound to happen.
well, eventually,
It'll-
yeah. I'm excited for that day because I very much enjoyed Fishing for Fishies. You know, I think I had heard the title track before, and I'm like, okay, well, this is interesting. You know, I don't know how a whole album of this is going to be, but boy, oh boy, it definitely goes on some turns towards the end when the robots take over and everything is so scary. But yeah, there's just some good South rock type beats on here, and then some spooky sounds like that scene in Robots where all the robots are getting made, and it is a very scary song. That's the
very
vibe from
accurate.
that. Yeah, that's the vibe from the end of Fishing for Fishies. but I need to give a special shout out to the Bird song. The drummer on that song is going crazy. It's some of the best drumming I've ever heard. It's wacky stuff. So if somehow you haven't heard Fishing for Fishies, or if you've just heard the song Fishing for Fishies, and you're just like, I don't know if this is for me, listen to the Bird song, you coward, and then listen to the whole thing.
Yeah.
Or listen to the whole thing. I don't know. It's just good stuff. That's my number 13.
Psy Boogie.
Yeah.
Number 13. And I know what you're saying. This whole album didn't come out in 2021. That's what the year is. I know, you dumb idiot, but I'm putting it here because I really like it. We got the second half of Civilization 2 this year. All of those songs being like really, really great.
Yeah.
24, what is it? 21, 420, whatever the name of
I
that
don't
song
know.
is.
I
was
like
my,
that song.
That was my rap
Yeah.
song of the year. I played it like 90 times. Perfect COVID song. It's not pretentious at all. It's not like, stupid how a COVID song on paper could be. It works really, really well. But when they put it together with the first half from 2019, I think it just works so well. It's like this synth pop is like really, really great. Borderline video game music. It's very mystical, more dystopian than stuff they've done before, but just really great textures all around it. It's groovy. It's fun, but not too fun because a lot of it is about climate change, and then the second being COVID stuff. So it's almost like the disease they were warning about on the first Civilization came true on the second, which is kind of smart, even though they didn't plan that at all. I hope not. I don't think Sarah Bonito was the cause of COVID, but
She's patient zero.
She was
dude.
the catalyst.
she's patient zero. But very good, very short. If you're into any video game music, like, this is a good entry point into more synthwave stuff. So check it out.
Mine is contrary to the band name, this is a good album. Bad Bad Not Good is a, I guess, alt jazz, I think you could call it. I know they've worked with many hip hop artists, but this was my first introduction to them as a collective. But entirely instrumental album, no vocals across anything. But yeah, alt jazz, I think would be the best way to describe it. It's jazz music, but not highbrow jazz music, if that makes any sense at all.
Yes.
Opener, Signal to the Noise, is very good. It gives me like a Shine on You, Crazy Diamond type formula vibe to it. Has like this one chord that plays throughout the entire thing, and then it ends with like this fuzzy trumpet repeating, which is really nice. Unfolding has like this saxophone trill throughout the entire song that sounds great. Beside April, good track. The Reprise is really good too. And then the last song, Talk Meaning, has a harp solo for like 2 minutes at the end, close out the album. And it's just the harp and nothing else, and it sounds very beautiful. So, whole album, if you're into instrumental, ambient, jazz, whatever, you might like it. Give it a shot. Very nice background music.
Epic. We've all had background music entries now. This is great.
I know it's fairly high for me to just call it background music, but it's
Some
works
good
as
background music. Yeah.
Yeah, but very good. If you like, brass and saxophone and instruments like that in your music, it's great.
Oh, there you go. Moving on, number 12.
Oh, baby, do you wanna make it better? Do you wanna stay together? Hey, if
Our first reaction ever,
Yes.
factually. Or I guess
Yours.
first one we did
Yeah.
together. Yeah, this one is fantastic. This was, I think, the second Anderson record I had heard. I think I listened to Malibu before. Very nice. There's a great runner. I think I think even as we were going, Bev, he said the first 4 tracks, phenomenal, and I agree. Those first 4, it's crazy how you
Can't
can
beat
just like, yeah. Oh man. So yeah, but some, what can we do? Also very nice. I'm also a big fan of that Brandy song, Jet Black.
Mm.
So very nice. I don't have a whole lot to say about it because it's just good R&B stuff. So
Listen to it.
listen to it now, you
Listen.
cowards. Come on.
Come on.
What are you doing?
Yeah.
Cool. I'm coming in with a super original pick at 12.
Millions just to fill voids up.
Call Me If You Get Lost, Tyler the Creator. I'm kind of mad at myself for putting it this low, but it's been a good year for music, so I'm doing it. I don't care. I still think Igor is superior, but that does not mean they cannot coexist. This thing is just no reinvention, no nothing, just like back to basics, and I think it works the best for his rap album side. It is long, but it's got that mixtape feel, so once you're in there, you're in there. Doesn't seem like it's too cluttered or anything. It's got his classic 10-minute track in there, like he does with most of his albums, and it goes over extremely well here, going into reggae stuff, which I never thought he would do. But we got songs like Hot Wind Blows, Lil Wayne Goes Crazy, finally giving us a verse after being on Flower Boy and not doing a full verse. Then we have, what else we got? Corso, Nuts, Lumberjack was the single. That's an earworm of a track by itself. But I love how even when he just does a mixtape album, like mixtape style, there's still a cohesive theme throughout it. There's a storyline. He just does that stuff. He's like Kanye level now with like sequencing and music videos and outfits and reinvention. Like him and The Weeknd are doing that constantly, and it's great. I love when artists just immerse themselves in their product. But again, no drop off or nothing for Tyler. He's just keeping going. So I'll see you in 2 years for the next one, I guess.
Hopefully.
Oh, it'll
Yeah.
be 2. It's always 2.
I think he's been on that schedule. Yeah, it's
For
every
like the
other
whole
year.
decade, I think. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
You never know. You might.
He better not.
Disappear
I'm
for
gonna
Maybe
need
he'll
it.
5
release The
years.
Grinch 2,
Bruh.
his Illumination.
Yeah, once Illumination makes a sequel, they'll have him again.
Yeah.
I will hold you, I will hold you, I will hold you, and I will hold you, I will hold you.
Any Shape You Take by Indigo D'Souza. One of the best indie rock albums of the year. Top 3, definitely. Very good type. I guess it's kind of a mix of like,
It's
I don't really
everything.
know where I'm going with this.
Yeah.
There's a few songs where like you'll hear like very heavy, like 2 of the songs in here specifically sound a lot like Zombie by the Cranberries.
Mhm.
So like get that kind of stuff. This was my introduction to her. I heard this one first and then went back for a 2018 one, I Love My Mom, which was her album from that year. I think I like that one a tiny bit more than this one, but this one is still very good. 17, good opener. Darker Than Death, pretty good, chorus running throughout that one. Pretty Pictures is a little bit generic. Not much to say on that one. But Real Pain is, you got that like, starts out like a normal song, and then you just have this minute long thing where you just have this collection of screaming, where it all just, climaxes into this one ear-piercing scream, and then she just goes back to the chorus, and it's like,
That's gonna happen
Okay.
live. That's gonna be a little wild.
yeah, like, okay, that just happened. I wasn't really expecting that. But yeah, really good indie rock album. Good guitar, good choruses all around, and just, yeah, good stuff.
All right. Getting close to our top 10. But this is number 11. And I'm gonna be real. I have not revisited this one since our reaction, but I enjoyed this thing so much that I remembered. I was like, I can't rate that very low. This is a very, very good emo rock album. It's a classic. I fully believe that Welcome to the Black Parade is one of the best songs ever. And yeah, it's crazy. Was not expecting a lot of Queen influence. That was a very welcome surprise, I think. Even though it is very angsty, but who doesn't like angst every now and then,
Gotta be edgy.
Yeah. So I don't have like a whole lot of good like things to say about it, but I just, as I was listening to it, I just have a general vibe from this thing where it's like, that was great. I really enjoyed that. So I probably should listen to it again, but I just haven't.
Yeah.
That might change. Who knows?
Who knows? I've been listening to it for like 12 years, so.
Yeah.
Yeah. Still holds up.
You got time.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Number 11.
I get down tonight, show the day. I'm finna go get paid. I'm the violent type, so don't play unless you want your grave. We was in the hood, real was late, ain't had section.
The self-titled album that is like 25 minutes long or something. Despite its length, every single song slaps to the utmost caliber. I think people overlook this thing because it is very mellow, but this is a perfect example of very calming and like vibe-worthy production with hard-hitting lyrics. Perfectly portrays his message. A lot of Vince Staples fans, I think, were hoping for something harder, like his old stuff, something more in your face. But this thing is just Kenny Beats killed the production across it, and then Vince going into paranoia. Roots from where he came from and how that's affected him, home life, all that kind of stuff. But it's packaged between these incredibly like groovy beats, and he's just so good at like flowing and maneuvering through these. If you don't believe in this album, watch the Tiny Desk, because that will open your eyes for sure. And they got the live band playing these things, so tight knit, but man, do not miss it. It is insane.
Okay.
Okay.
I really wish I could have put this higher, but there's a lot of good music. This is like more so a case of this guy just oozes potential. Like, it's one of those things where like I can see it right now. Like, yeah. Like Babby said, Big Mike's banger, Noah's
Big
highlight
Mike.
reel banger, Rodeo Clown banger. It's just like, it's probably the most like organic, definitely the most organic album this year. All these songs sound like they're played in like a live studio when they're just riffing and just doing whatever. And it's like so acoustic and organic that it's like you have to like really listen for a lot of things, but it's just an entire vibe. Yeah. But again, just keep your eye on him because he could do great things in the future.
This is like the
And-
most need a vinyl of it album ever.
Yeah. Pretty short knit. I'm not too big on like, like the credits at the end or like scratching or Annie, but like just those ballad cuts are just insanely good. So, yeah. Keep your eye on them. For
I
your
might
own
need to
sake.
check that one out. Yeah.
Top
Alright.
10 time.
Top 10.
Top 10.
It's
So
getting real.
scary. Yeah. All right, I'm gonna start off with a very controversial pick.
What?
Everyone's going to flame me in the
Oh,
comments
no.
for my number 10.
Oh, this is horrible.
Everyone is so
Oh, I
angry.
can hear them typing.
Yes, everyone is so mad at me right
Haven't
now.
you heard Jade?
It's the worst song. It should be number 22. It was so bad. No, but this thing
I'm
is great. Yeah, don't look behind Bab Jab right now. Listen, there's so much good stuff that we listened to this year. I was like, it made my top 10, but sorry, we listened to there's so much. But yeah, this thing is fantastic. this is maybe my favorite Bab Jab pick that we've done so far. Actually, no, for sure. It is my favorite Bab Jab pick we've done. This thing is very fun. It's got some great synth pop stuff. You know, I think When You Die is probably my favorite. But I also like T-Slamp. She Works Out Too Much. Little Dark Age. And you know, Handed Over is pretty good too. I think that's like, I don't really have anything bad to say about it. It just didn't really grab me as much as some of these other ones in the top 10 did. But I bought it on vinyl. I love it. So it gets a big 2 thumbs up from me.
Big old boy.
Top 10 all time.
Top 10 all time. Whoa. Okay. All right. What do I got?
Reach out to all the ones who came before you. Ponder what is right, you and I in divide.
I knew it was over when Reach Out came out with the music video of both their dogs. I'm like, it's done. Sufjan's gonna do it to me again, and he did it. My God, is it like, this is the comfort album of the year for sure. Like, if you just want to feel good, feel anything, actually, just put it on. It's nuts. Their falsettos match each other perfectly. This is angelic music to the core, I might add.
Why would you add that?
No, I'm not gonna.
I just wanted to make the pun. But no, like every single song is like gorgeous, like so much so, and they flow together so well. Especially since every single one of these, the writing process was literally let's watch an old movie, and then the next day they write a song, not necessarily about it, but about a theme of the movie. So you got like Silence of the Lambs in there, you got Wizard of Oz, you got all these different things, Point Break, all this stuff. So yeah, it is fantastic. I can't say too much about it just because like there's not too much to it. It's just fantastic songwriting done really well. There's nothing crazy about it or inventive or new, but it hits.
I forgot that I listened to this album.
Frick.
Dang it.
Put it here. Yeah.
Frick. I'll have to add some songs
Okay.
to the song list, but dang it. I really like this thing too. I feel like an idiot.
Darn.
But frick. I don't think it would have made my top 10, but
Okay.
I it should have been on the list
Yeah.
is all. Yeah.
A blunder.
Yeah.
A right blunder.
All right, blunder, bro.
Took your thoughts and penciled them in. Should've wrote them down in pen. And maybe they'll come to life.
Whoa.
This is an example of an album having great moments, but the album being way too long and having way too much stuff that you don't like to rank it any higher. What like the original alone is like an hour and a half runtime without
An hour
the
and
part
45. Oh, without the
Yeah.
part twos, you're saying?
Yeah. But yeah, a lot of great, amazing moments across the record, but there's just so much that isn't, that I can't put it any higher. But Moon, perfect song. 24, Believe What I Say. No Child Left Behind is a great closer. I don't know what he's doing on the track listing on the deluxe version.
We're just not going to talk about that.
Yeah. Life of the Party should have been on the original album. Great song. Andre's verse is probably the best verse of the year.
True.
But yeah. It's just, I mean, hour and 40 minutes. It's like, yeah. Great, amazing moments. Cut this track list in half, and it's a lot higher. But it's just too much, I think. But still a lot of great moments across the entire thing.
Well, it must be. It's number 10.
Yep. Can't wait to see where Jerry ranks Donda.
It's not on the list. My number 9.
Baby bet, ayy, couple racks, ayy, couple Grammys on him, couple blacks, ayy, that's a fact, ayy, throw it back, ayy, throw it back, ayy.
I'm going to have to echo a lot of what Bab Jab was saying. I think this is a great debut album. by one of the biggest pop stars ever. Well, I guess technically he's, I guess, the biggest pop star with the
Yeah,
Old
it's-
Town Road
yeah.
thing. But you know, took some time off, I guess, after he did the 7 EP, you know, dropping songs here and there. But came back with this thing, and you know, I think it's pretty good. It's a pretty good debut album. There are highs to it for sure. I think Industry Baby, one of the best songs of the year. But you know, I'm shouting out some of his lesser played stuff, like well, this isn't lesser played, but like Void, Tales of Dominica, Am I Dreaming? I love those slower songs. You know, I think his perspective is so unique in that you know, he was the biggest artist in 2019, so like all of these expectations for this record were set so high, and I think that those reflections that he has towards the end of the record are especially poignant because it's unique. No one else is in that position. So I think for that, you know, there's some highs. It isn't all great though. Especially the front half tends to be a lot of the same stuff. Whichever one, I think it's like the second song that he used in that hype video that I hate that song. I believe Fantano said that it sounded like a yogurt commercial, and I think that is very apt. I think that is very accurate. But the highs definitely outweigh the lows here. I think Void. I love Void. It's a great song.
True.
So yeah, for those reasons, couldn't rate it any higher. But number 9.
Sick.
Yeah.
My number 9.
Yup, that's right, harbingers abound. Locusts swarming, you can't see the ground. The sun blotted out, the sound of plague rattling against the house.
And again, I know what you're saying. This album didn't come out this year. This was actually my album of the year last year because I heard it 2 days before I filmed the video. But this came out in December of last year, so I'm carrying it over to this year because I think it deserves it.
We can do that.
Yes. Only with late December picks because they're basically in the new year. So with our luck, Kendrick will drop by the time this video's out. So
yeah,
you know, we're working with what we got. But this album is pure witchcraft. This is like you get more Mother and Billy Woods, two very striking voices, two very powerful voices. And the production it can be very, very harsh, mysterious, you know, the typical Billy Woods stuff, but a little bit more tribal in the drums. There'll be some like chants and stuff as well, but scathing attacks on gentrification, the invasion of indigenous land for resources, very, very heavy topics that are lesser talked about. It's like you lift up a rug that hasn't been cleaned in 50 years and you see all the dirt under it. That's basically what this album goes over. And it does it extremely well. Again, the lyricism is so far above so many other things I've listened to. More Mother is more of a poet / like spoken word jazz musician, but she is rapping on this next to Billy Woods and she does incredibly well. The quotables, there's way too many to even name, but definitely check it out if you're into any kind of abstract hip hop. There's just some great things on here. Like, do not miss it. I know some people have talked about it, but it's not super well known. So, hidden gem alert.
Let's get this shit, let's get this shit, let's get this shit, let's top of the morning, 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 top of the morning. Hold on, let's get this.
Wow.
Number 9. Yeah, I think you caught it pretty well in your ranking of
This is
it.
the issue.
or
We're going
not
to
your
start overlapping a lot.
Not ranking, but your explanation of it. This dude is only 20, and he already has his own sound. It's you know, the whole album kind of has this goofy, off-beat vibe to it, but still stays cohesive. When you have Kendrick on 2 songs and you can keep up with him on both, you've got it. You've got something. Sure. I think I prefer him on both songs.
Wow.
Kendrick.
Family Ties,
Okay.
I prefer him. Yeah.
Yeah. Range Brothers obviously.
Up
Great
in the
song.
morning.
It's a funny song.
Yeah. Trademark USA, great opener, like 3 different beat switches in that song. I will agree, Pink Panties is not a good song.
Garbage.
It's funny, kind of, but not to the point of being listenable.
It's not funny in a way too sexy way. It's funny in it's a
Yeah.
bad way.
Scapegoats into Range Brothers is crazy.
Goated.
You know, it's like, you know, he is gonna like consider everything. Like you have Scapegoats, which is this kind of freestyle, and then this piano passage right into Range Brothers, which shouldn't work, but it does. Issues is a great song. The Closer, 16, great song. Vent, good. I think Kendrick's on that one too.
He does
Most
a
of the
hook.
song sounds
Yeah.
a lot like Kendrick.
Mhm.
But yeah, I'm not too well versed in trap and that kind of area of hip hop, but this one caught my ear, definitely. Yeah, very unique. Another person to watch out for, you know, being as young as he is, and he's already at this point. He could be huge. So
massive.
I'm excited to see where he goes from here.
All right. Moving on. Number 8.
From the first to the last of it, delivery is passionate. The whole and not the half of it. Forecasting aftermath of it. Projectile and I'm blessed away. Accurate assassin shit. Me and Quali close like Bethlehem and Nazareth. After this.
Yeah. So this thing is like phenomenal. It's close to the best hip hop album that we heard this year. It's getting topped by one, I believe. And we'll get to that later. Mos Def, crazy good New York rapper. Listen to, oh frick, what's that album called?
Black on Both Sides.
Black on Both Sides. Yes. Heard that album. Crazy good too. Crazy underrated. Got in here with Talib Kweli. Crazy good rapper. Crazy good lyricist. Honestly, some of the best bars I've heard ever. They go crazy. If you are a fan of New York hip hop and have somehow not heard this one, what are you doing? This is like, it's up there with like Wu-Tang and Low End Theory and all the great, you know, Notorious B.I.G. everything. It's one of the best ever. So if you're looking for something to get into, see if you're gonna like it. Give a try to Respiration with that Common verse. Crazy good.
It's only one of the best hip hop songs ever created.
Yeah.
No big deal.
So good. I just realized that I forgot that we listened to Common too. I am like really goofing this up.
Do your own research.
Do your
I
own
tried.
research.
But that record doesn't beat this.
No.
So, ooh, crazy good stuff. So that's number 8.
Epic. You all are gonna kill me. I wanted to rank it higher, but the way my brain works is like this isn't really inventive. It's just really flipping good. It's not anything new or crazy, but like the songs and the performances are absolutely nuts. We were all very excited when Leave the Door Open dropped. We were ready for it, and then the hype died down due to really bad marketing. But now that we have the final product, it's still really great. I would have liked more. It's a little short, but I hope they group up again eventually and do something like this. But Smoking Out the Window, one of the best songs of the year. Absolutely nuts. So great collab, fantastic album. I just couldn't rate it any higher because the way my brain works is like this isn't new to me, like my ears, because I'm a coward and an idiot. So still pretty good though. This is very listenable. So you've already heard it. I don't need to tell you to check it out.
Yeah.
Number 8.
If he fall on that floor, let him go. Gone. This ain't built for this page of my art. This shit they put a stain on my heart. Pick him up, he ain't built for this part. If he wasn't here for them long, walk.
Yeah, I mean, where do I even start with him? He's great. Great lyricist, great instrumentals, great left field alternative hip hop. Trust, banger opener. Rebounds is probably no. I think or whatever it's called, sick, nervous, broke.
Yeah, that one.
Whatever it's called on the offline.
It's
I
called
don't
two
know.
different things in the online
Yeah.
and offline.
Great song. But yeah, I don't really know how I could start explaining this, and I probably don't need to in the first place.
I don't know if you can.
So yeah, it just good album. I don't know what else to say.
Listen to it.
Yes.
We might listen to it on the channel. It's on the wheel. So
It's on the viewer suggestion wheel.
Jerry hasn't heard it. So
There's a chance. Who knows?
This guy right here.
that was me.
Oh, so I'm
It's all
somewhere
weird.
different.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That's
He's above
fine.
me right now
I've
for me.
listened to it, believe it or not. There you go.
I don't believe it.
Oh, he's here for me.
Yeah.
Oh. All right, number 7. So I didn't do the one that came out this year, but we reacted to Illinois a couple months ago, I think at this point. Holy moly, I had heard Carrie and Lowell up to that point, so I was pretty familiar with him. Knew he was the acoustic guitar, sad lyrics
God.
man.
Yeah.
Yeah, voice of an angel.
Mm.
And so, going into this was one of his earlier ones, 2005. So, a little bit nervous going into it just because, Carrie and Lowell's so good. And it's like, well, it was kind of what we were going into with like that Lucy Dacus Historian record. Like, what if it isn't as good? This thing did not disappoint. This thing is just some great. This is, I don't know. It's kind of like folk, but there are some like there's some pop tracks on there. A lot of like big band type feeling stuff too. Like on some of my favorite tracks, Chicago, and Come On Feel the Illinois, or Illinois, I guess technically.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think those two are my favorite. I think the run from Come On Feel the Illinois through Casimir Pulaski Day, absolutely perfect. Casimir Pulaski Day is very sad.
Yes.
That was, kind of dipping his toes in the whole like, let me get really sad and depress everyone on this.
Before I make a
full-
whole album about it.
Right. But yeah, I think it's a little bit intimidating because if you click on it, there's there's 22 tracks and it's an hour and 14. But most of those are
And
like
the song
5 seconds
names.
long. Oh, and the song names.
Yeah.
I probably should have
That
brought
was
that up.
something.
Yeah, that's a little bit hard to kind of like remember what songs are good because like what is it even called? It really kind of takes you listening to it over and over again to kind of learn what everything's called. But yeah, very good stuff. Check it out if you're into indie folk, and if you are into indie folk, then you probably already heard it before.
Yep.
Because it's Sufjan.
Listen to it again. Treat yourself.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, have a good time.
All right. Number 7, I have
Took your thoughts and penciled them in. Should've wrote them down in pen. And maybe they'll come to life.
I was also figuring out where to put this thing because I didn't. I realized I liked it a lot more than I did on paper, so I'm like, let's just bump it up to 7. That's as far as I can go. That's my final answer. I have a history with this album. I was incredibly interested in the rollout. I loved what he was doing with crafting the album before everybody's eyes in these stadiums, in these really weird living conditions between shows. I thought it was really cool. It was expanding on the Pablo Never-Ending album thing, and I think he did it well. The first listening party, the song sounded horrible. There wasn't a lot going on. There was like bases of songs, but listening party 2 opened it up to everybody, and it's like, okay, we're doing something. But even just like going from listening party 1, the floor is just white, there's fog, the songs are like barely even touched. 2 weeks later, in a mere 2 weeks, he put in an entire stage performance, choreography, and an almost finished album. And then you fast forward 3 more weeks and you got listening party 3. Recreated his entire childhood home, The album is completely finished. He baited people with the baby and the glob 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 guy and all that crap, and I hated it. But also brought Come to Life out to the world for the first time in like one of the most beautiful moments of the year. So it's very confusing. It's long, it's bloated, but at the same time, it's what Kanye does. I think the Never Ending album thing lives with this one. I've always said I'm defending the black cover till I die because it's our album. It's not his. This is a collection of the Donda idea. You can make a 12-track, 10 out of 10 album in here multiple times. But yeah, it's super long. It's basically a do what you want with the album. That's how I view it. That's why the black cover makes sense. It's a memorial album, but it's also like, you put a cover here. I've given you enough visual material. You have my house, like, you have my childhood house in a stadium. Take that image if you want. You have a circle of me flying through Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Take that if you want. I don't care. So, very cool experiment. One of the best Kanye albums since, I think, Pablo. A lot of people really like EA. I wasn't a big fan of it. But, yeah, I got to put this thing up here just for... I mean... Kanye's the only artist that could do this. One, because of how much money it takes to do this kind of crap, but two is he's the only one crazy enough to do this crap. So I just happen to love the actual sound of the album too. I think a lot of people got tripped up on that. It's very repetitive. It's dark. There's not a lot of drums, but the features are absolutely phenomenal. So great work.
Good job, Kanye.
Kanye.
Yeah.
Thank you, Kanye. Very cool.
My number 7. Again, Babby ranked this before I did, and he kind of caught
Shame.
it. You know, it's a vibe. He has this very chill atmosphere to him, and it works really, really well. I love the thing he does where he has his own voice, and then he has like either a higher pitch of his own voice or he has someone else singing in the background, like harmonizes. It sounds really, really good. And he does that on like almost every single song that he does, and it works really well. But yeah, really chill, monotone. It just works. Hey Mista Banner song. I like the sound effect where it's like, it sounds like when you place a PlayStation controller on a desk and it rumbles. Like that's probably a really, really, really bad analogy. That's what I hear when I hear that song. If you don't hear the song, you probably think I'm stupid, but it's what I hear. So like, yeah. But again, like Babby said, happy birthday to you. Closing track, banger, great song. Yeah, just chill, great rap. I getting to the point where I'm bad at explaining things.
We only got 6 more to go, so
yeah.
Yeah.
That was probably the worst explanation I've done so far. But
it's hard when
good.
there's repeats because it's like I don't know if people are gonna have them or not, so I go in.
Right. Or like if you are following someone, it's like, well, I don't want to just repeat
them.
Yeah. But, number 6.
We don't believe you, cause we the people are still here in the rear, yo, we don't need you. You in the killing off good young brother fool. When we get hungry, we eat the same damn food.
Tribe Called Quest. We got it from here. Thank you for your service. Yeah. This is the one that beat Black Star. And it was close. But this is their last album together because they did it oopsie, or the guy did it oopsie and died. That's
unlucky.
Sorry, Fife Dog. So this thing is fantastic. I would probably agree with Babby. It's just as good as Low End Theory. You got some great
tell
stuff
no
on
lies.
here. I know. Well, sometimes you do, but not this time.
Mm-hmm.
Almost every day.
Yeah, you have some exceptions here and there, but yeah. In terms of like great stuff, you got Conrad Tokyo. I think that's my favorite. Even though the end is just kind of riding out the beat, it's a great beat. Just let it ride. I also like This Generation. Rick, I'm having troubles getting out all the stuff I liked, but this thing is a star-studded affair. You got Kendrick, you got Kanye, you got Busta Rhymes, and I'm missing like every other one because they aren't listed.
True.
But those are the ones that I remember. And this thing is fantastic. If you are a fan of Tribe Called Quest, already heard it. But if you are kind of like a big fan of Low End Theory and you haven't heard any of their other stuff like I was, definitely check this one out. This is not one to sleep on. You know, I was also a little bit worried. Big fan of Low End Theory here. It's like, well, is their newest album really going to be that good? Because, you know, like some artists take like huge hiatuses and then they turn into ABBA, you know.
A little bit longer of a hiatus than normal. But
Yeah. But I mean, like, you know, Tribe was gone for like 20 years. Or, well, they weren't gone, but they had separated and, you know, different members and stuff. This was the original cast. But yeah, this one, just as good as some of their other stuff. Still need to check out Midnight Marauders.
We
but
might do a
get
reaction to that.
later.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that would be. But yeah, that's number 6.
Epic. This was floating around the top the whole year, and it's staying here. Absolutely fantastic. This is probably the biggest surprise of the year for me. After doing the Boy Genius thing, she released the album like days before we recorded that. And I was like, okay, let me check it out. And I was completely blown away. I was not expecting the level of quality I got here. After hearing Historian, there's definitely a lot of building that happened here. The central themes are fantastic. The songwriting is so incredibly good. Just the concept of home video, going back through her life, going through, you know, her good and bad times, and then people around her experiencing and empathizing with their trauma, which is not something you hear. Basically, like, you never really hear that to the extent that you hear it on here. The ability to empathize with people close to you like this strongly and write this good about it. Like, Thumbs is absolutely stunning. But even like Going Gone, like the very palpable nostalgia of that song is insane. That like immediately can just take anybody back to like middle school and high school. That's absolutely insane how good that song is. And the writing around it is phenomenal. But even the closer, Triple Dog Dare, the slow build story track, love it. This whole thing is just fantastic. It's one of those things where like I don't expect it to be that good until I listen to it again, and I have to remind myself like, yeah, this is that good. And you don't realize it until it's in your playlist all year, and like, okay, I got to put this thing really high up. So, but great job. Seeing her in concert in February. We'll give a review. I don't know if we will. We're going though.
We'll talk about it
We'll
on
talk
the
about it in the
podcast.
podcast probably. But
Yeah.
yeah, fantastic job.
my number 6 is also Home Video.
What?
By
Wow.
Lucy Dacus.
Okay.
It took me a while to come around on this project. I don't know why, because it's good, like really, really good. And yeah, Babby just spent a lot of time explaining why it's good, and I would just echo that.
I hate when
So,
that happens. It's just the same one to frick.
Yeah,
I know.
but again, just perfectly encapsulating that nostalgia feeling of just, you know, being younger and, you know, around that time of elementary, middle school, at least for me, especially elementary school. I get a lot of that when I listen to this album. Especially songs like Going Gone. Again, like you said, that's just, you caught lightning in the bottle there. The 1-2 punch of Thumbs and Going Gone is insane. Triple Dog Dare, great closer. And yeah, I don't know what else I can say that you didn't already say. Great album.
Talk about Brando. Bruh.
It's staring you right in the
Bruh.
face. Just say it.
No, that song's sick.
Yeah, that
I'll
sounds
talk
good. The only,
about it.
the only
You talk
thing is
about it.
I'm not too big on Partner in Crime with the autotune. I think it's a little
I
bit out
agree.
of.
But Jerry will
I mean,
contrast
autotune
that.
autotune doesn't equal bad in any way. It just
No.
is out of place here.
Yeah.
So
Tell us why we're
yes.
wrong, Jerry. In
I
your
won't.
whenever you get to it.
Yeah, it's coming up. Not this time.
My number 6.
Okay. Dang it! I thought we were gonna get the 666 with it.
That would have been funny, but no,
He's
it's
so
coming up a
scared.
little later. My number 5 is an album that did not come out this year, but that we reacted to, and I actually listened to it for the first time this year. So count it. I love this thing. I am a big Bruno Mars fan, and by Bruno Mars fan, I mean I like this album and Silk Sonic. I've not heard any of his other stuff. Well, I mean I've heard the song, but Bruno Mars, crazy talented vocalist. I have no idea how he does some of the things that he does. As someone who works a lot on their voice, I'm just constantly blown away whenever I hear this album. I think the best songs, you got Straight Up and Down, you got Calling All My Lovelies, even stuff like That's What I Like, and the title track, 24 Karat Magic. Just great stuff. I couldn't rate it very high because I didn't,
5
there's
is pretty
some-
high.
Yeah, but I like this thing a lot.
Okay.
I like it more than Tribe. I even thought about putting it even higher, but just because I love this thing, and I can only strive to be as good as Bruno Mars. I don't think I'll ever. I don't think that's realistic for me to ever be as talented as he. I can jukebox some of his stuff, but then my voice is shot for like the rest of the day if I try.
Never
So,
bad setting the bar high.
Yes, but it is unrealistic.
Oh yeah, but I mean,
Yeah. But not the last time I'll be talking about Bruno Mars.
spoilers.
Even though I think we all know.
Yeah,
it's
we all
coming.
know. Yeah, I just made a last second adjustment and swapped my 4 and 5.
Oh.
Last second audible. We'll see why. But absolutely fantastic concept hip hop album. I heard fantastic things when it came out to the point where I had to just drop everything and listen to it immediately. It is that perfect combination of Lauryn Hill and To Pimp a Butterfly. I think that's what I compared it to on the podcast when I originally heard it. But concept is there. The intro like immediately just throws you in. It's like the most anthemic, like thematic thing possible. It's absolutely insane. I was blown away the first time I heard it, and then it keeps going. Like this is like a Ventura style, like 4-track run, I would say. Like you go Introvert into Woman, like the super cool soul sample track, very warm, and then into I forgot what was next, but whatever's next is absolutely insane too. There's a sample on there that's like crazy. Her styles are all over the place, and it's awesome. And then I Love You, I Hate You right after that. Very powerful song. Like this thing does not let up. And then it does not let up at all. The only like gripe for me putting it at 5 personally is that it is very long. It takes a while to get through, but I mean you got to be in the mood for it. But once you are, it's like you got to love positivity in hip hop that glows this far. Like it's very theatrical. It's in your face. It's there. And the topic of introversion is not something that is tackled often in hip hop either. So just digging deep into that personality type, just having that confidence, self-confidence, but also like she says something near the end where it's like, how can I be a rapper, but I don't know how to like speak to people? It's like the most real thing like you can put on the end of your record after you just spaz out after it. But yeah, the introversion stuff just hits incredibly hard. So it's good pump up music for that, but it's also like very good introspective stuff. So fantastic job. She was shooting for something great, and she definitely got it.
Mm-hmm. Agree.
Number 5.
You left my heart twerking, moving, losing, grip on my doings, eyes is crying, on the jet cruising, about to spend millions, just to fill voids up, drama, I need you, can you turn the noise up?
Wow.
I feel weird putting him this low.
I was gonna say.
I know, yeah, like he's usually, I would be the first person to tell you how great he is, being at the top of every list, but This one is still really, really, really good though. I love the vibe of it, all the flutes and the pretty imagery and all that. It's great. Hot Wind Blows with Lil Wayne, banger. The 10-minute song, banger. Yeah, it's just him talking his stuff, you know. His past two albums are him being, you know, in that place that he was in, and now he comes out on this one and just pulls
Victory
the
lap.
punch. Yeah. The one thing that kind of holds this album back for me though is I find it's not nearly as replayable as his other two, and I would probably just of his perfect trilogy. I don't know if this I would say perfect trilogy because this one isn't perfect, but I'll probably put this third of his last three releases because Flower Boy is a very important album to me, I would say. And then Igor, of course, is just great, amazing.
Masterpiece.
Yeah. So yeah, great stuff as always from him. He doesn't miss at all, but just not as replayable and not as deep as his other stuff recently.
Okay. That's fair. I would have figured that would be in your top 3. So that's a surprise to me.
It's a good year.
It is a good year.
Good year.
Yeah. All right, moving on. Number 4. This was our second reaction ever. Yeah. Frick, I just got into this like a month ago. You know, it's hard to talk about it because it's like it's blonde. You know,
I said
It's
it in
like,
the
what?
reaction. It's like this this album hits everybody at a different time, but when it hits, it doesn't leave ever.
Yeah,
It never will.
frick. I think, man, it's hard to say something original because, you know, it is what it is. But to me, I think there are some really, really great songs on here. I think Nights is my favorite. I think that is a very popular opinion. And I think like all of my opinions on this thing are very popular. It's like my favorite songs are like White Ferrari and Pink and White, Self Control, Godspeed, Siegfried even grew on me. I know, very surprising.
Best song.
I wouldn't say that, but it did grow on me. Yeah, I don't know. I have a hard time listening to this all the way through, but there are some like, man, there are some great songs. So for that, I had to give it its number 4. Well deserved. Very excited to listen to Channel Orange. Please come on the wheel already. It's been on the fan suggestion wheel for like this whole time.
Yep.
I've just been waiting.
During our marathon, we're bound to hit some of these, so we'll get
I
there.
hope so. Yeah.
All right, number 4. My God, I thought I loved this in the first reaction, but I was wrong. Now I love it. Now it's like addictive. Like basically what I said in the reaction, it's like every song is like a short movie to the point where like so much happens in one song. This is the post-punk side of Control that I'm gonna call it. The ability to get loud when needed, but also the ability to make it incredibly moving and almost hypnotic music with all their bandmates being very controlled and letting the storyteller, I don't know the singer's name, but him go off on his like very, very cool writing style, very kind of a little bit Bowie-esque in the way. We said that with Black Midi as well.
Yeah.
Whatever's going on in that windmill in Britain, they are doing some good stuff over there. But every single song on this thing just blew me away and continues to. Like Athens, France, or what is it? Athens, France. It is, yeah.
I think so. Yeah.
Actually, it's Athens, Greece.
Athens, Greece. But again, they fall into the Zoomer humor, where all their music videos are literally just stock footage that they pulled. It's just stock videos of random things. And their album cover is from a stock photo site. And their music is copyright free. So like this new Zoomer generation is killing it. But yeah, this thing is magical. The storytelling grips you. The instrumentation is absolutely perfect. It's like not highbrow, but at the same time, it's like, ooh, you could put this on for like a whole bunch of different music fans and they'll love it. And they're dropping a new album in February, and the singles have been absolutely incredible. So I don't see them slowing down. But this thing is, for a first album, this is perfect. You can't get much better than this.
I am really torn between my 2 through 4.
Oh boy.
Split second decision.
Okay, number 4. An Evening with Silk Sonic. By Silk Sonic.
Okay, thank you. You did
For
that better
Silk
than I
Sonic.
did.
By Kids for Kids.
Yes.
By Silk Sonic. Yeah. Yeah. Like I said it in our initial reaction, this is the closest you can get to objectively good music. I don't think you'll find one person who does not like this, like straight up. Anderson kills it across the entire thing. Bruno does too. I think Anderson gets a little bit more shine though, which is a good thing because he needs to be on the come up because he's great.
He's popular, but he needs to be the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Blast Off grew on me a lot. In our initial reaction, I didn't really put too much thought into that one, but that one's grown on me a lot. That's probably my favorite, I would say. I mean, obviously, Leave the Door Open is great.
Wow.
Smoke Out the Window is great, but yeah.
Okay.
I don't know what else to say about it because it's Silk Sonic. Like, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what
Great.
it is.
Yeah.
You know what it is. So yes, number 4.
All
We're the
right.
top 3. It's getting
boy.
real.
The bronze medal.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like a coward
Okay.
for putting this as my number 3. But we did react to it.
Now you're lifting me up instead of holding me down. Stealing my heart instead of stealing my crown. Untangled all the strings around my wings and
A cop out.
This is definitely a cop-out. But I was like looking at everything we reacted to, and I tried to stay away from stuff that I added. That like, so I that's why Jim Croce's not on the list. James Taylor's not on the list. Spoiler alert. I don't think anyone saw that coming. But this one I was like, it's one of my favorite albums of all time. Not the best thing that I've heard this year though. Golden Hour, one of the best. I mean, probably one of the best albums of 2018. This pop country fusion that Casey Musgraves is doing. Although I guess now it's just pop, as we saw with Starcrossed. I guess the Grammys say so, and I would agree with them.
True. For once. Never
yeah.
again.
But I think I'm gonna have to echo Babjeb what he was saying about Silky Sonic, about this one, where it's like some of the stuff on this it's just objectively good. The crossover appeal on this thing is absolutely crazy for a country album. Even like I'm not particularly like super huge on country, especially modern country. I can get into some older stuff back when it was real. But yeah, it's absolutely fantastic. Slow Burn, Golden Hour, Oh What a World, Butterflies, Love is a Wild Thing, Mother, Rainbow, fantastic stuff. Just forget about Velvet Elf.
Please.
Yeah.
For your own sake.
Yes.
Yeah.
My top 3 is all incredibly close, so I put them where they are, but I like all of them equally.
Dreams is dangerous, linger like angel dust. Ain't no angels hovering, ain't no saving us, ain't no slaving us. You gonna need a bigger boat, you gonna need a smaller ocean, but here's some more rope.
This was a very hard decision, but if you didn't see the podcast, which a lot of you didn't, I gave this thing a glowing review when it came out because it was my most anticipated thing. But The Alchemist and Armand Hammer coming together. Alchemist gives his best production of the past 2 years, I would say, with all of his collab albums. This is unlike anything he's ever done, really. You start an abstract hip hop album with a waltz, like that's crazy. A lot of people, I think this is their first exposure to Arm & Hammer too. So like to immediately throw them off by giving them a waltz with Billy Woods going over it is pretty crazy. The whole thing of the album, the whole theme and everything can be explained basically through the streaming cover, which I will have on the bottom left of the screen, which I can't show, so you'll have to look it up. I don't want to risk it. It's a little gory. But
Yeah.
then I have the vinyl version here, which is like a palm tree and it's all nice, but there's a security camera on the palm tree. And that was like, whoa, there it is. Got it. Like it goes through like very highs with the Earl Sweatshirt song. It's very sunny and bright and nostalgic and cool. But then immediately the song after, it's like the darkest beat on the album. It goes from like free and open straight down into a song about mass incarceration in the private prison system with like the coldest beat I've ever heard. It's literally like people like hammering stones with like a hammer, and it's just stimulating stuff all the way through. But the quotables on here are insane. Indian Summer is like the hottest beat I've ever heard. It's like the picture painting just through beat making is insane. Without even like getting into the track, it's like the smoldering heat of that song. But the lyricism is next level. Best lyricism of the year by far. Nobody comes close. I've been a fan of these guys for a little bit, and I think this is their best thing yet. But it feels weird because I know they can do better than this. I know there's gonna be that one album that kind of like breaks them through and gets like that insanely high reviews everywhere. But this is getting there. Every single song is great, and even through like the classic let me go through Genius while I'm listening and picking up more stuff. That happens with every song. There's hidden things everywhere. I'm still unpacking it. So if you're a nerd into that way, like lyricism and writing, like this is your thing. Because every single thing is like layers upon layers. It's like learning a song, like on an instrument. You have to master one part before you get to the next part. And then once you know all of it, like you got the whole thing down, and it's basically a novel in a 16. So it's crazy. But gotta give it to Haram for number 3.
I am torn.
Split second decision.
Yeah.
It's locked, but it's my number 2 and my number 3. Number 3.
Who let the dope boys out? Thank God you let me crash on your couch. Who's my God that I'm praying to now? Early 2000s, they try to jump me in, Latino protection. Any direction you...
I don't really know where to start with this one. It's a little bit different from what they've done up until this point. It's kind of around... I feel like there's 2 different ways you could look at the album. There's one where it's, their usual, that combination of that hardcore alt hip hop and that like 90s boy band balladry type thing. And then, there's the narrative of it where it's kind of revolves around Joba and his dad's suicide, and like how it kind of starts off with, buzz cut and chain on, and you're like, okay, this is gonna be banging, and then you get to the light and it's like,
nope.
Oh
yeah,
okay. So yeah, Buzzco with Danny Brown, banner. Chain On with JPEG Mafia, banger. Off of technical difficulties. I'm really glad that they got that one in. Hold Me didn't make it though, which kind of sucks, but whatever.
Yeah.
And then Bankroll makes it on. I think that one's been floating around as a leak for like multiple years at this point, and it finally made it on an album, which is good. Count on Me is okay, not too crazy about it, but it's still good. And then you get to the light where Joba is expressing how his dad's suicide last year, I think it was, and he goes into detail with that, and that's a little bit of a rough listen sometimes. And then there's Kevin on the backside of the track doing usual Kevin stuff,
Kevin
growing up,
things.
growing up as a gay black man in the backwoods of Texas, the struggles that come with that. Really, the only thing that keeps this from being like amazing is the middle. I think the middle has a dip a little bit. Old News and I'll Take You On, I don't really find myself coming back to that often, but picks back up with When I Ball. That one has a really sticky chorus. That one gets stuck in my head all the time. Really great. What's the occasion has that like indie rock explosion at the end. That's really good. Dear Lord is gospel bareface, and
love to see.
I never knew I needed that until I heard it. That it's like, if this dude doesn't make solo music after they're done together, I'm gonna
This will
hold a
be
grudge
like no
for my
Andre
entire
3000 solo album level.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This dude just has the voice of God. Like, I know I talked about it in our saturation thing, but like, he's insane.
Yeah.
And acapella, gospel, bareface. Not a religious person, but like,
I found God.
I found God for those 2.5 minutes that he's in my ears. And then the light part 2, the closer, Joba kind of come to terms with it, saying, this sucks. I'm a little bit mad at you for doing it, but I'm gonna keep on living life. And yeah, as an album, really good message about this whole like anti-suicide thing. Like, just keep pushing. The light doesn't have to be a religious, analogy. But yeah, I'll probably put it 3rd overall in my Brockhampton ranking. 4th if you count technical difficulties, because that's really good stuff. Just never got released officially.
And it never will.
Yeah, I could never talk bad about anything Brockhampton does. You know how I think about them. You know me. I
Yeah.
love them so much. So
That one singular person. It's great.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. My number 3.
All right.
Silver medal time.
The silver medal. Yeah, so I found this thing. Well, I didn't find it. Babby told me about it. Like as soon as he listened to it, he's like, "You need to hear this. It's gonna be you're really
It is
gonna
an
like
emergency.
it." Yes, and I'm like, "Well, okay, Babby's always wrong, so this is gonna be really bad."
I'm gonna.
Yeah.
I'm glad we went in with the same expectations and inadvertently.
Yeah. So I listened to this and wow. I listened to it pretty late at night my first time, and I was like, "Yeah, this is pretty good." And then I went to bed and I woke up the next day, listened to it again. I'm like, "I was a coward. This is like really insanely good." Yeah, hard to say anything new because 2 people have talked about it.
True.
But I will talk about my favorite song. Very controversial opinion. I love Partner in Crime.
Go off, King.
Yeah, I don't know why. This is one
Okay.
of those where it's like, it's not like, I'm not gonna be like, oh, actually, the chord progression. Oh, shut up. I just like the sound of it.
No, my camera died. Why is that the
Oh
screenshot?
no!
Frick.
No, you're just getting in.
Oh,
You're
frick.
doing a do-si-do.
No.
Oh, this is
Keep
so
going. I'll
sad.
fix it.
Okay. But I really dig the auto tune. I don't know why. I'm not the biggest fan of auto tune, I guess. I think when it's used right, I like it. I don't like it as a replacement for good vocal quality because that's something that I really value as someone who works on their vocals a lot. So it's like if someone puts in the effort and really has a great voice, then I want to hear it. I don't want a whole lot of processing on it. But I really just enjoyed the sound of Partner in Crime. It's one of my favorites to sing. Don't ask me why.
With the autotune or without the autotune?
I don't know how to auto-tune my voice. Otherwise, I probably would because it would be funny to me.
That would be kind of fun.
But yeah, that song's great. I think my favorite that is my favorite. But I also really like Brando. Babby wanted someone to talk about it. I thoroughly enjoyed Brando. I enjoy it now. When I first heard it, the last 3 tracks, I'm like, whatever, I hate those. Everything else before that's great. But as I've kind of been listening to it consistently throughout, since we started getting into it, I have since all of the songs except I Don't Like Triple Dog Dare.
Dang it! I thought you were gonna come around. It was gonna be the good ending.
No, it's still the bad ending.
At least you got Please Stay. Please Stay.
I
is-
do like Please Stay. I like that one a lot more now. Because I've been dealing with some stuff.
great.
I wasn't dealing with a whole lot of stuff when I first heard this album, and I've only gotten worse. So, hearing Please Stay now under that, context, it hits a little different. But yeah, this thing is fantastic. Even some of like bigger songs. I love VBS, Hot and Heavy. I'm trying to think. I even like First Time. First Time I did not like a whole lot. It's definitely grown on
I like
me
the
a whole
punch of
lot.
it now. Yeah.
Yeah. It really comes out. Well, it doesn't come out of nowhere. There's a build.
No, but yeah, it's still
But-
nice.
Yes. And she has just a great voice. Surprisingly, she's better on Historian, which is crazy to me. But yeah, still great stuff all around. I'm not going to talk too much about Thumbs and Going On because they already did, and they're perfect. They're great songs. Just about the best thing I've heard this year. Number 2.
Just about.
Just about.
Webcam Miggy over here. Okay. I look really sweaty in a webcam. This is weird. Okay. Number 2.
If he fall on that floor, don't go. Gone. This ain't built for this page of my art. All this champagne put a stain on my heart. Don't pick him up, he ain't built for this part. If you wasn't here for them long, walk.
I got LP, JPEG Mafia, the offline version if anybody cares, but
I care.
I do.
This is a JPEG Mafia album. I like it more than Veteran. I like it about the same as Cornballs. I think this is his most accessible album, which is weird because it's still not accessible. Yeah,
Okay.
I would say at least. I was seeing this thing getting a lot more praise by a lot more people than I like back when Cornballs came around and everybody in their little like stupid Reddit circles were like, "Me, it's really good," and then the outside world was like, "What is happening?" But this one, the only gripe I have with it is there are 2 versions. That is not his fault. That is his label's fault. So you can't get like the streaming version doesn't have Untitled, which is the closer, which is a darn shame. They also don't have Hazard Duty Pay, one of like the best songs ever of the year even. I can't even put it in my top 50 songs because it's not on Spotify. But the energy he brings is unmatched. It flows super constantly. He takes all of his styles from 2013 to this year and put them on one album, and it worked really well. Rebound does things to me. That is my song of the year, Rebound. I remember listening to the album for the first time at 12:30 at night. I was chilling until Rebound came on, and then it physically got me out of my chair, and I didn't sit down until the album was over. So that song is absolutely bananas. The way you can build the beat like in the perfect way is him. Starts off fine, it's still really great, but then he adds horns, then he adds an engine revving sound, and then he adds like vocal effects after it. It's crazy. This man is a master of layering. But best rapping to date. Everything about it is almost perfect. I just like Cornballs more because it's more cohesive, but he's my favorite artist. There's nothing short of it. He's my favorite. Yeah, nuts. I think he's taking a little bit of a break, but I think he's remastering some stuff, so the world will be able to hear old Peggy, which is just as good as new Peggy.
Oh.
So,
All right.
fantastic. I'm gonna give it a 10 out of 10. Yeah, I think my top 3 are all 10 out of 10s if I'm gonna like rate them numerically. But phenomenal work, Mr. Peglord.
I don't know if you want to call him that.
I want to call him that.
Okay.
Number 2 for me is Synth Pop Stanleys are eating good with this one. This is if you like synth pop and you have never heard this album, do yourself a massive favor, pause the video right now and listen to it right now.
I can't pause
This thing is
recording.
This thing is great. Beautiful vocals across the entire thing. Beautiful instrumentation. They do the silly, quirky thing where they name the first song the end and name the last song the beginning. So it's like a whole loop thing.
That's
you know?
smart.
So smart. Beautiful album art.
Gimmick.
Mercurial World, the title track, very good song. Dawn of the Season, great song. All these are great. You Lose sounds like a broken, busted speaker Space Invaders machine, and then it blows your ears out, and it's great. Hysterical Us is stuck in my head all the time. Yeah, Cherry, I think is probably the most popular song. That one's very heavy, like bass, like dance-ish. Halfway is good, Follow the Leader is good, Domino's good, like all these are good. Like I know me just saying these are good is not enough to warrant a number 2 pick, but like it's great. Like ever since I got on the Tame Impala train, I've had just this soft spot for synth pop, and this is just, I love it. And I don't really know what else to say about it, but
I missed
yeah,
this
just great.
and I'm embarrassed. So
Great synth pop, very good. Like I haven't really seen many of the music videos, but it kind of has that like whole 1990s early computer days vibe to it. So yeah, just it's really good. I don't know what else to say. I'll spend a lot more time on my number 1, but this is really good.
All right.
We're all about to give a video essay for our number 1. Crazy.
Yeah.
2 hours into a recording.
Yeah. I don't know if I'm gonna go too much.
Yeah, I don't know how much you can go in with this one.
My number 1, Silky Sonic by Silk Sonic.
Wow.
Yeah. Everyone's already talked about it. I'm gonna have to set the marketing aside, because now we have the whole thing. It did make me angry that they kept dragging this thing out with the whole leave the door open fiasco, but I'm working on separating it, the final product. But wow, this has not left my regular rotation since it came out. I think Anderson and Bruno Mars is a match made in heaven. I'm so happy that Anderson was on that Bruno tour in 2017. That this little baby came out. Yeah, I have to say, like almost every song on here is something that I listen to. I don't like Fly Like Me, or I don't like 777. Sorry, everyone hates me. That's not what I really like about either of their stuff. I don't like the loud bombastic stuff. Like I can kind of relate 777 to like what's that song on 24 Karat? Perm. That's kind of the vibes that I get from it. And I don't like that song. So, but like I don't know if I've ever heard an album that I'm like 100% love everything on. So even Silk Sonic having a couple songs not being my favorites, it's still really G-dang good. I think like even something like Silk Sonic Intro, it's crazy that I like that song. I know someone in the comments said that I didn't like it, but you are sorely mistaken. I just was writing it off because I had already heard it before. But yeah, Smoking Out the Window, fantastic song. Leave the Door Open, fantastic song. I really like Blast Off. I agree with Bab Jeb. I don't know if it's my favorite. I think Smoking Out the Window is the best. But I also like After Last Night, those Thundercats backing vocals, bass lines, everything. Just ooh mama.
Ooh mama.
There's a whole lot of great stuff. It doesn't. You guys are correct. It doesn't change anything, but it's good. It's just it's the best funk I've heard, and it's
You got Mega Brain coming. Eventually.
Yeah, that's true. We'll get to
As
that.
of now.
But
Yes.
yeah. As of now, but it's gonna take a lot to beat this,
Mhm.
I think. And that's my number one. Silky
Epic.
Sonic.
Nice.
Mhm.
My album of the year.
Knees hurting when I grow, and that's a tough pill to swallow.
See if me and Babjab have the same one 2 years in a row for album of the year. But post-COVID times, I feel like my last year's pick, Punisher, is the COVID album and will forever be known as the COVID album. I think everybody relates to that one. But this is going to be the second Aftermath album, because this is the perfect soundtrack for current state of affairs in every facet of life, I think. Of course, Groggs passed away last year unexpectedly. This album was mostly done by that point, which is crazy to think about after hearing it. But this album does not sound like anything I've ever heard ever in my entire life. They feel like they've definitely invented a new genre. Some people have called it post-rap. I'm going to call it post-punk, post-rap, because there's a lot of post-punk influence. There's Black MIDI samples and Black Country New Road samples. But starting it with Outside, just like you're immediately thrown into chaos. There's a battle rap sample playing in the background. There's some weird beat that's, you can't even tell the time signature. It's just really weird. Builds up into this weird synth pop dance groove near the end, and then immediately throws you into Superman That, which I hated the first time I watched the music video. I had no idea what was happening. It didn't sound like music. It sounded like someone just threw a trash can down the stairs. But second and third time, I'm like, oh my god, this is insane. Vocal effects being used, just, this is abstraction with like the most purpose and intent possible. This is like every song is a painting. Every single piece works perfectly together to make it. Whatever it is, that's up to interpretation, since they do leave a lot of it open. But you get songs that specifically tackle like climate change. You get a song where like they do the injury reserve thing like they did with Jailbreak the Tesla, where they do this really cool concept on something. So they take like the hospitalization and like healthcare workers, and they're like talking about how they need to get the newest mask and like the newest shield and everything, but it's all super dystopian. Like, this is like the perfect audio representation of an apocalypse, except it's real life, and it makes complete sense with what it is. Top picks for you, I can't identify a single instrument, but it shows the most emotion I've heard all year through an instrument I can't describe. It's like absolutely insane. That song is relating like losing someone to nowadays an algorithm, how when someone passes, their algorithm is still going. Their patterns are still there. Like, especially, like, that is so incredibly real. I don't know how nobody's thought of that before to relate it to it. It's like, this person is gone, but like things are still happening. The world doesn't stop. People just go on with life, and that's like a crazy concept to think about. But absolutely, like, flawless. This is like the best abstraction I've heard probably ever. Everything just makes sense and works, even though you have no idea what's happening ever. But this is the perfect time capsule for the past 2 years. I think Punisher takes a very different route to this kind of style, since that album was made pre-COVID. This one is COVID. Like, this whole album is just the state of the world. So absolutely incredible. I don't know what they're doing next, what they're going to do next, but I feel like this is their magnum opus. This is the thing that's been leading up to this out of all their other albums, because this is like absolutely mind-blowing. So that is my album of the year.
All right.
It is not mine, but I
Okay.
will say that I feel like this is one
I
of
was
those
scared.
albums where I'm gonna look back in 2 or 3 years and slap myself in the face for not liking it initially.
It is
For
hard.
me, this is just, it's just too much for me. I know what they're going for. You know, I saw Groggs passing almost immediately.
Mhm.
So it's like, for me, it's just, I know there's stuff here, and I know it's something, but sonically, it's just too much for me.
It is
Like,
incredibly difficult to get into.
Like the opening track, I just couldn't get past. Like, you know, I'll probably come back in 2 years and be like, wow, this is amazing. How did I not see this initially? But right now, for me, it's just too much. So.
But one day, it'll just punch you
But
in the
one
face.
day. Yes. My number one is For the First Time by Black Country New Road.
Let's go.
Oh, okay.
I have a lot I could say about this, and I hope it comes out cohesive, so just bear with me. This album is a personification of anxiety for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, you got the instrumental, someone's going crazy on the bongos. You got that that I think it's like a synth or something that just loops for the entire song, and every song has like a climax that just builds and builds and builds of like saxophone and violin and yeah, instrumental opener, great. It's the entire album has just this feeling of like closing in on you. And it's like yeah. Athens, France. I love like the slow part of that song. How you think it's gonna build into this thing and then just slows down for the entire rest of the song. The lyricism on this song and throughout the entire album is like blunt, on the nose self-awareness, and it's like it's insane. I love the vocal delivery. Like it's like this spoken word, just spewing words as hard as you can in like dramatic way possible. Athens, France specifically, I don't really know if I have it tagged down on like what it's about, but I kind of like, even with this one, track X and Opus, I feel like kind of encapsulates this feeling of like nostalgia, but being late on the next stage of life. So I'll talk about that a little bit later too. But Science Fair is nuts. You know, the lyricism about how this dude has a traumatic event at a science fair, and it sounds like it's a villain origin story, and it's like
I love that song so much.
The instrumental all crescendos in this huge explosion at the end, just this huge explosion of sound. I love it, and I feel like it's almost part of me feels like it's like a giant metaphor for something too, but you can also take it in the literal sense. I just haven't figured that part out yet.
It's open.
Yes. So obviously you could take it literally about a science fair event, but I feel like there's like a little bit bigger thing going on there that I haven't really deciphered yet. Sunglasses is the best song of the year and the best song since the turn of the decade, in my opinion.
I can see it.
Wow.
Yeah. I know you guys talked about this a lot in your initial
Yeah.
That was the
reaction,
one.
but
Yeah, that
this
was the
song
one.
is like I don't know if I can get through talking about the song. So the first half obviously is a little bit slower and it's like, you know, a little bit more lighthearted. Not lighthearted, but you know. It's just, you know, something insane how this guy can use him seeing his mother with frail hands using a NutriBullet and correspond that to how he has this fear of becoming someone who is like that person. And it's like, how do you even do that? Like, that's insane how you have that specific example and make that into this huge thing of how you have this fear of becoming someone like your parents, or how you have this fear of becoming a bitter old person. And it's like, yeah, it's crazy. The second half, I know Jerry talked about this a lot in the initial reaction, but this is a little bit too close to home.
Yeah, I know.
For me. This idea of wearing sunglasses as a protection for yourself from the rest of the world is wild. At first I was like, why is he talking about Kanye? But after hearing the song a few times, it's like Kanye is kind of perceived as this person who has this massive ego and has nothing, lets nothing touch him. So if, like, don't relate me to Kanye right now. And it's like, you know, this vibe of, you know, I'm building myself up, stop poking holes in my facade of these sunglasses. And, you know, like Jerry said, as someone who has a lot of anxiety and social anxiety problems, this is a hard listen sometimes. And the line about leaving your sertraline in the cabinet, it's like, it's, yeah.
As soon as the Kanye line hit, it was just,
yeah,
yep, that's, we
I
did
don't
it.
know how much I should say about myself. I don't know how much to say about myself, but I started taking sertraline this past little while ago for anxiety issues. And I didn't make that connection until I started that, and then I listened to the song again, and it's like, okay.
Yeah, I know.
A little bit too close to home here. Instrumentally, beautiful. I love the saxophone across everything on this album. It's great. I've never once skipped the song. I've never once skipped the second half. I listened to it all the way through every single time. I love it. I love it in a way that I shouldn't, basically. It's something that, like, I'll talk about it a little bit later. But track X is pretty good. Not, Sunglasses-esque. But it kind of has that feeling of Athens, France as well. Where it's just this insanely self-aware, nostalgic feeling. And Opus kind of has the same thing. And I love how Opus has this start-stop vibe to it because, Twin Fantasy and Joy are here. But, but yeah, like the closing chorus of everyone else is moving on with life, but I feel like I'm a little bit too late. That's like, yeah.
This album is like the Zoomer experience personified in a way that like nothing else has ever done.
And I think the whole, like, I know it's their band name, but for this album specifically, the whole thing of Black Country, New Road is like a giant metaphor for all of it. Because in a literal sense, I think Black Country is like an area in Britain where it's like the Industrial Revolution had a big impact there, and it's like all like charcoal and ash and stuff. And then, so I find that like an analogy across the entire thing, how you can use Black Country as like, in real life, it's this place that's covered in ash and like charcoal and is like dirtied and destroyed because of Industrial Revolution. And I think I can use that like as an analogy as like the world is like broken and we're being sent out into the world,
right?
Into this Black Country. And like the new road is, finding like a light in the dark or finding a new way to navigate through that Black Country. And it just runs throughout this entire album. It's like anxiety capitalized, like it closes in on you. It's extremely self-aware, and like I cannot stop listening to it like at all. Like I caught this pretty late into the year, but like I know it came out like February or January, but like I just have not stopped listening to it. It's like it's insane. One thing I can like kind of relate it to, this analogy might not make any sense at all and it might be dumb, but like for me, like watching Evangelion for the first time this year, it's like, this is an album that's an anime, obviously, but like it's this like this thing of, it gave me the same, not feeling, but the same kind of thing where like I'm indulging myself in these mediums to escape from my real life problems, just to have that medium throw those same problems right back into your face. And it's like, okay, thanks.
I think that's good, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I am so excited to see what their next album has.
Oh boy.
Yeah, this caught me off guard so much. Like I never go into post-punk or rock very much. Like Twin Fantasy was like my rock album, and that's as far as I went. But like this is insane. Like I don't know what else to say about. Like I just spent 10 minutes explaining it, but like, yeah, this might be a 10 out of 10 for me.
I think it is.
So
it might be.
Yeah,
I think it is.
Yeah. But yeah, that's my number one.
All right.
We did it.
That was some, it was some good stuff, Bab Jam.
2.5 hour recording. We did it. We're all the way through. I think people like long form YouTube content nowadays, so you're definitely getting it. Comment, I can't believe they all put Angelic to the Core as their number one album, if you've made it this far. Be really funny and
Didn't
hilarious.
even come out this year.
Didn't even come out this year. But that was the year. Very good year for music, I think. Good year for the channel. So.
No.
Okay. All right. Whatever.
Could do
Whatever.
better. It's all
Whatever. Whatever. Okay.
Bad.
We're recording too long. Yeah. Thanks for watching. Put your lists in the comments. I'm curious to see what y'all got for your top albums. We won't roast you. That's your job. So we'll be around next year. We'll be doing stuff. I'm going to try to do Black Country New Road, first reaction to the new album. That's probably my most anticipated. We got an Earl album coming out. We'll see how we navigate all these. But viewer requests will be the first thing that comes, I think. I think we're planning on
we're
getting
gonna
through
do
some of
that.
those.
yeah, early 2022. I think
Yes.
that's when we're going to do this marathon thing.
I think we're gonna open a Twitter too, so stay tuned for that whenever we do that. But
hope I get to run it.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, you can have.
I mean, you
can
could.
have the password.
It'll just be random people tweeting. You won't
Yeah.
ever know who it is. It'll
That's
just be
fine,
someone. But yeah. Do we have an outro? We don't really have an outro.
Like and subscribe.
Like, subscribe, leave comment,
Hit the,
hit the bell so you know when we do stuff.
Hit the bell right here. Pop, pop.